I convened this roundtable because I and other committee members have been hearing from shippers about their concerns about service they are currently receiving. Important issues that have been raised include significant increases in demurrage and accessorial fees and a general decline in service reliability and quality. I also want to address what this roundtable is not about. This is not a roundtable to relitigate the Staggers Act. I don't think anyone here disputes the positive changes the Staggers Act brought to the railroad industry in this country's economy. Nor do I think anyone here is seriously suggesting we go back to a pre-Staggers era. However, the railroad industry has changed a lot since 1980, especially in the past 5 years. And this roundtable is timely to discuss some of the recent changes that have occurred in the industry and concerns about those changes that the shipper community has raised.
You shouldn't be the ones who are getting stuck with, the railroad saying, "Oh, well, wait a minute, that car sat there for 24 hours. There's an extra fee for that." Well, yeah, except you didn't tell me when you were going to deliver it. I mean, a whole host of other, concerns that I have.
The challenges we faced and continue to face, really kind of fall into three categories. You've got reduced service and unmet railroad commitments on boxcar supply. Increased rates year over year despite the operational failures, and they've been significant. And on top of the rate increases, as was articulated well, you've got the demurrage and accessorial charges and fees that are increasing and are quite unavoidable.
I'm here today to discuss a major issue of growing concern within my industry, and that's the application of demurrage by Class I railroads, a topic exacerbated by aggressive implementation of precision scheduled railroading, or PSR. As the chairman said, demurrage is a charge payable to a transportation company, in this case a railroad, for failure to timely unload or load rail cars. Kinder Morgan doesn't argue or contest the purpose or concept of demurrage to incentivize efficiency and fluid usage of the networks. But our concern lies in a one-sided and monopolistic methodology by which the railroads assess, bill, and attempt to collect these charges. I'm sure you're going to hear many examples from my colleagues today about declining railroad performance, which is justified under PSR. My purpose is to discuss inaccurate demurrage and private car storage billing and an absolute inefficiency, and added costs and burdens that the railroads have created with these practices. Make no mistake about it, they've created windfall profits for railroads and unnecessary costs along the entire supply chain, which ultimately go to the consumer. We ask ourselves, if demurrage has an incentive aspect, shouldn't the penalty go to the offender?
Many ag shippers really believe now that we're at a tipping point on the extent to which they can rely on cost-effective, competitive rail service. Let me touch on a few reasons why. First, there is limited competition, as has been alluded to, with duopolies existing in the East and the West. 4 major carriers now handle 80% of the grain and oilseed traffic in this country. Many landlocked agricultural facilities are captive to a single carrier. Second is the adoption of PSR by 6 of the 7 Class I railroads. The NGFA recognizes the need for carriers to earn sufficient revenues to invest in their networks, cover capital costs, and to obtain reasonable profits. But PSR also, for our sector, involves driving operating ratios, the costs actually spent in running the railroad, to perhaps unsustainably low levels to impress Wall Street investors and reward shareholders, as Chairman DeFazio has already alluded to, often at the expense of customer service. Some have said PSR means doing less with less. For our sector, PSR has resulted in increasingly arbitrary, abrupt, and disruptive changes to operating plans and service schedules, often negating tens of millions of dollars in rail customers' investments in their facilities, track space, and other infrastructure that the railroads insisted that they make in order to continue to have rail service. Crews and customer service personnel also are being slashed. There now also is very little or no surge capacity in the rail industry to meet upticks in demand for rail service.
Unless the system changes, unless conflict resolution changes within the STB, the system is not going to change. And to be particularly honest, in my business, my customer is my primary concern. The customers, customers, customers. In the rail industry, the customers are not the primary concern. Actually, you're the primary concern. The federal government's the primary concern. And what they want to do to keep the system that's in place exactly the way it is now. And you'll notice no matter what you propose as any change, it's reviewed as now we're re-regulating the railroads, now we're causing problems. That's not the answer. I have no intention, and someone made the comment, I believe with you, Chairman, we don't want to go back to the pre-Staggers day. I could not agree more. That's not what I want to see. That's not what the industry wants. We want to see a very strong rail industry. We want to see a very active rail industry. We want to see innovative rail industry.